Hi, Steven. It's been a while.
It's
Welcome
been
to
a while.
5 Minute Takes. How's it
Thanks for
going?
having me, Dozier. Appreciate it. Doing
Yeah,
pretty well. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Pretty excited to do this with you. And so let's jump straight into it. Today, we're talking champion tracking for CSMs. And I just wanted to ask, why is champion tracking a must do for CSMs?
Yeah, I think it's hugely important and maybe more important now than ever, given kind of what's going on in the market. Ultimately, I think there's a lot of stats out there that champion turnover is one of the largest factors for churn for any kind of customer success organization. And naturally, it makes sense. If your main point of contact leaves going into a renewal, you're really in a position of reselling the product again to somebody new. So when we talk about champion tracking for CS teams, there's a lot of different kind of applications here, right? First and foremost, it's incredibly helpful to know in real time when a champion has left the organization. It's funny, I always talk to other CS professionals, and there's this weird phenomenon that happens where, 3 months out from renewal, you're just about to get started with your renewal conversations, and you send that first note, and all of a sudden you get a bounced email from your key point of contact at the customer account. It's sometimes like they time it intentionally, it feels like, but nonetheless it happens so frequently and instantly. Heart is racing for a CSM. You're scrambling and you're thinking, okay, well, I felt pretty good about this renewal, but now the person who kind of put all their effort and support into the program is gone, and there's the aspect of like not only losing that person, but now needing to go out and find the right people to reach out to. So, from a champion tracking perspective, knowing when they leave is important, but then also knowing how to kind of fill the gaps when you identify that that person is left. And I think from the CS world, it's sometimes less of an emphasis to kind of multi-thread at customer accounts. And if you are single-threaded, a champion leaving is all of your contacts gone. So that's why it's so important to me. I think like the timeliness of knowing when champions leave, but also being able to identify new stakeholders is so critical when we talk about being able to retain a key customer, knowing how much of a factor that is in a renewal.
That's super insightful. I can just imagine that heart racing moment when that email bounce comes back to you.
It's what CS nightmares are made of, Dozier. It's one of the few triggers I would say in a CSM's eyes that can instantly flip an account from bright green to red,
Mm.
because you instantly are starting from the very top. So it's super important and so easy to kind of look past, because when things are going well, they're going well until they're not, when your champion is gone. So
Mm. And just building on what you mentioned about the different scenarios in which you think about champion tracking. So what is your favorite customer success focused champion tracking playbook? Gosh, that's a mouthful. I apologize for that.
yeah, that's a tongue twister indeed. I think like the tried and true, like just churn notification when, or not churn notification, but churn prevention notification when a champion leaves is an obvious one. And I think, user gems is super helpful in that aspect of letting you know when champions leave. But I think maybe even more important, because it can be proactive, is tracking when relevant titles or past customers join another customer account. The sooner you get multi-threaded, the less of a terrifying experience losing a champion becomes, right? If you're able to go ahead and proactively identify other folks that have worked with your company in the past at a new customer account, another customer account, you bring them into the conversation, you loop up the champions together, and now you start to build a team or an alliance of champions. So if one happens to depart, you're not in as much of a hole as if you're single threaded with one stakeholder. And on the other side of that, just relevant titles in general, beyond folks who have used your product at other customer accounts, just making sure you're monitoring those who are in your buyer persona and that should be key stakeholders when they join these accounts is also huge. And I think it's great to have a tool like UserGems that does both, where we flag when a key contact churns or leaves the account, but we also flag when new folks join customers that were customers in their past life or that are relevant titles for us to be working with. So it's all about having as many people as you can. And I think that's my favorite playbook is this multi-threading instance that allows you to just get a deeper kind of rooting into the organization beyond just one champion.
It's pretty interesting to note that the buying committee conversation goes past just the sales process. Like it literally goes right into the CS world itself.
It absolutely does, and it's always changing, right? Because people are coming and going. So the buying committee that happened pre-sales might be very different than the renewal committee, and a CSM staying on top of that is hugely helpful because it doesn't leave as many blind spots going into the renewal. So you're spot on there, and I think we have to keep in mind that, especially in this market,
Mm.
people are changing roles frequently, sometimes voluntarily, sometimes not, unfortunately. But nonetheless, that gap is there if they're gone. So the more folks you've got kind of bought into your product or service, the better position you're in as a CSM.
Great. Thank you so much. This was short and sweet. Thanks for joining us, Steven.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me again, Dozier.